Every painting starts with something: an idea, a color, a shape, a feeling. The trick is translating that spark into something you can work with. This painting happened because I had a brand new set of Kuretake watercolors that I wanted to try out. Simple as that. The excitement of new paints drove me to crack open my sketchbook and give it a shot. But the actual contents of the painting began as nothing more than a color combination. In my mind, I could picture rich blue paired with a deep rosy red. Not quite pink, not quite full red. And that's it. I didn't have a firm idea of what the painting would be, but I knew I needed to see those two colors playing together. It wasn't much of a spark, but it was enough to get the ball rolling. From there, I had to figure out what I'd be painting, the actual figure or contents of the painting, and that can often be really tricky. There's unlimited options, so how do you choose? Well, sometimes I want to explore, push my limits, try something a little new and exciting, but not this time. No, this time I wanted to stay firmly in my comfort zone. And for me, that meant a magical lady. I love painting vaguely magical women. It's a theme that I've had in my artwork since I was a teenager. I considered drawing up a brand new pose, something cool composition-wise, but that just felt too hard. That was more than I was willing to put into the painting this time around, so I cheated. I stole a pose from one of my older drawings, a digital piece that I did a few years ago, and I sort of retrofitted it to this painting. And that's not a move that I tend to do a lot, but now I'm really thinking I should. I often have this mentality that everything needs to be new, and that's the kind of thinking that I'm growing out of right now. A few years ago, I definitely would have thought that I needed to come up with everything from scratch right there on the spot, but now I'm a little bit older and I know that not every step needs to be a push towards tangible growth or success. Not everything needs to be tippity top, best of the best. I mean, challenging yourself is great, don't get me wrong, but the stuff that you want to paint when you're feeling lazy is worthy of celebration too. Learning what your comfort zone is and letting yourself fall back on it when you don't have it in you for a big leap, that's an essential part of being an artist. Even if you end up painting the same character over and over again, you'll still find ways to innovate and explore. Here, for example, I decided to switch it up and paint the figure blue and the background that rosy red. It's a small change from my normal style of painting, but it made a huge impact. And it was a choice that wasn't thought out or planned. It just developed that way, and I followed my nose. It was just my intuition talking, and I was listening. And here's the thing. If at any point I decided that this painting wasn't it, I could have scrapped it. If those colors hadn't worked out or the composition felt off, I could have just started over. And that's another mentality that I'm shifting into, that repeating the same painting until you get it right, that is totally valid. It's so easy to get into your head that this is your one shot to get this concept right, so you better do it right. But there's no one stopping me from trying again. It's not a failure to try again. In fact, some of the best learning that you can achieve is when you repeat the same thing over and over again until you figure it out, until you get it right. I mean, looking back, that's exactly what I did when I was a teenager and trying to learn how to draw hands. I was awful at drawing hands, so I did it a lot. I practiced a ton, and I would repeat the same things on my sketchbook page until I felt like I had made some kind of progress. And now, while I might not be an expert at drawing hands, I still feel like there's more to learn. I do feel very confident in my abilities. And it's kind of one of those things that once you get a certain ways along, sometimes it's easy to think that you're beyond the basics, but we're always students of our art. We're always learning. I often compare art practice to going to the gym, and I'm gonna do it again. There are times for pushing for your personal record. There are times to try your hardest and sweat and really just go for it. But you can't do that every single time you go to the gym. You will burn yourself out. There are times where you just show up and do your familiar routine. That's fine. That is a victory all by itself. It doesn't always need to be this big deal. Don't feel like you always need to be innovating with your art, that every piece needs to mean something. Your comfort zone is there for a reason. Don't feel guilty about falling back on it and being comfortable. I have resisted this desire to draw magical ladies, thinking that it's repetitive. But you know the things that you are often wanting to draw or paint? Those themes that keep coming up? That's your style. That's what that is. So draw the things that you want to draw. Paint the things that make you happy. And don't worry about what anyone else thinks. And the next time you find yourself standing at the crossroads of innovation and comfort, know that it is perfectly fine to take a step back, relish in the familiar, and remember, your art, your rules. As long as you keep painting and keep exploring and keep loving every part of the journey, that's all that matters. That is where the magic truly lies. I hope you enjoyed this painting process and my philosophical ramblings. Make sure to hit the like button if this is your thing and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll catch you later.